good morning, and thank you for having me on site today to talk about Ridgeline. As with the previous gentleman, I am going to mention the safe harbor and the fact that what I'm going to be talking about is going to be extremely optimistic, which it is, but there are always, when you're starting up at this stage of a company, there's always things you do better at and some things that don't go as well as you hope for. But we have a lot of very good things in our plate, and I want to talk a little bit about that today. I took over at Ridgeline about 3.5 years ago, and we're an environmental service company to the oil patch. We took on two different projects or two different business lines after that. The one I want to spend the most of the time on today talking about is the water division. We embarked about 3 years ago on acquisition of a technology that will treat water primarily in the oil and gas sector, but we have since found that there's lots more applications for that water treatment technology, primarily in industrial waste and in some municipal areas. At the same time, we developed the GreenFill, which is really a process for treating soil in the Western Canadian market so you can reuse it as opposed to taking contaminated hydrocarbon soil and putting it in a landfill forever. We treat it so you can reuse it on other municipal landfills. And we still have the core business, Ridgeline Environment, which has about 70 professionals that work in soil scientists, biology, zoology for the oil patch. As you can see on the right there, we've grown our revenues, and we think that this is still in the startup phase, so we expect significant growth in the coming year. One of the things we've done is we've taken the relationships that Ridgeline has with oil patch to open doors into fairly large oil and gas companies. And for the last 3 years, we've been developing this technology in the water area to service that need. When we started about 3 years ago, we were doing a technology that could process, return water from the fracking process, frack flow back, and produce water at around 25 gallons a minute. That same system today will do 600 gallons a minute. And that's the process we've been going through. We've gone into another area. We have a location in Los Angeles called Santa Fe Springs. It's an industrial wastewater disposal facility. And what we've done is we've been able to apply our technology to treatment of that water and expand the size of that water treatment capability. When we took it over at the end of April, they were doing about $2.7 million a year of annualized revenue. We're currently at a rate in excess of $6 million a year of annualized revenue and growing on a regular basis. What we do there is we take water from all the industrial sites around us in the heart of Los Angeles, and we treat it so we can meet the Santa Fe Springs discharge permits, which means that location was only doing about 14 million gallons a year before they capped out on their contaminant level. You basically can discharge a certain amount of contaminants. With our technology, we can exceed 300 million gallons a year. Now, we're not going to get it overnight, but as we grow that business, that's an opportunity. And believe it or not, half of the clients that deliver to that site today are oil and gas clients. The boom in the oil business in Southern California is really going. They're only starting to apply some of the horizontal drilling techniques and frac business to that part of the world. We've started on, what you're going to see with our company over the next year is a lot of infrastructure building so that we can get up to speed and build facilities and units to do this. And that's what you'll see is in our Wyoming facility, we're building tankage. There's some also huge opportunities for us in that state for oil and gas and environmental services. You'll see us putting facilities into Santa Fe Springs, and we'll be working in Texas and New Mexico. And I'll talk a little bit about the Texas and New Mexico and how our view of the oil patch service has changed over the last year. All of it comes back down to the key thing that we have. We have a proprietary technology that we have not found anybody in the marketplace that can compete with us on how we treat the water, the level of quality we can get to, and our cost profile. One of our largest clients, one of the larger oil and gas companies, has studied for years. They have an oil and gas team for water, and they've said, look, you're the only guys, if we're going to use water treatment, that have come up and can treat it at a cost comparable notion. Now, just to put a caveat on that, the oil and gas industry is going through a transition period right now. For years, they never had to worry about water. But what's happening now is, particularly with the hydraulic fracturing requirements of large volumes of water, particularly in Texas, New Mexico, where they have shortages, It's something they have to address, but you're starting to see it happen. And you know, oil and gas changes slow, but we're seeing a significant request for our services to treat that water. But it's a whole process we have to go through. If we treat the water, what do they do with it till they use it again? So we're building a system in to handle all of that. The key to it comes down to our technology. It's an electrocatalytic and electrodialysis process that treats the water in a way right at the front end. And then we apply some more traditional technologies so that if you want water to drink with, we could do that. We'd prefer not to if you're just going to stuff it down a hole again and use it to frack with. But we can treat it to the point where it meets the client's requirement for reuse in that oil patch. Or in the case of Santa Fe Springs in Los Angeles, we treat it to the discharge requirement for the municipal waste disposal. The two major business models that we have going, the one which is the on-site treatment for oil and gas in saltwater disposal wells. We found there's a much bigger market in Texas and New Mexico because of the shortage of water in that area, is that we will be venturing with some clients down there, not necessarily clients, but business partners down there, where we will set up these facilities close to where all the hydraulic fracturing and the produced water is coming, and we will end up treating that water, disposing some of it down at a disposal well, and reselling that water to people in the marketplace. To give you an idea, the biggest volume of water to deal with on the ongoing basis actually isn't the hydraulic flowback water. That comes back in the first week or 2 or 3 weeks on most operations. It's the ongoing produced water of very high levels of chlorides that needs to find a way to be disposed of. Going forward, we see issues with the saltwater disposal wells being able to handle that volume. However, what we found is, I think the biggest market opportunity for us is the industrial wastewater area, and that's what we've started off in Santa Fe Springs. That will be one of multiple ones that we hope to install. Santa Fe Springs is up and running. We're making profit within the first 2 months. We expect to see that profit improve and grow that business, and we are actively looking for other locations where we can apply the technology. And again, it comes down to the technology is the core of being able to do it more cost effectively and to treat to a better quality standard. Just to give you an idea where we have our operations, we started our first one up in Horn River, BC. Toughest location I've ever had to start any kind of operation up in, particularly dealing with water when the outside temperature is minus 50 degrees C. We have the Santa Fe Springs operation in California. We have a place in New Mexico, and we're setting up a place with Kerr Energy in Texas. The other area I did want to touch base on, because we're finding a great opportunity with our GreenFill operation. We have a deal with the municipalities where they give us land to treat contaminated soil. We pay them a small fee because they then take that soil and use it for daily cover. We're finding that this application will work in some pretty good opportunity areas in the United States as well. Wherever there's oil activity, you get contaminated soil. But going along with that goes with the requirement to handle contaminated water. Now, we've just started a GreenFill at Red Cliff in Alberta. We've just had a permit to start treating water on that site as well, to be able to either discharge or resell back into that industry. And I think we have that opportunity to do that in the United States in oil producing areas there as well. But you can see that growth has continued. Our big challenge right now is to take the money we've recently raised and say, we have lots of opportunities there. We have to focus on the industrial wastewater, some oil and gas, and in the GreenFill, and build that business up. Our business right now is lots of opportunities. Our management is to how to focus the best return on that capital we've raised. The key fundamental thing that we have is we have market acceptance of our technology. We have a technology that we have not found somebody who can do it at that cost level and provide the client with the product that they're using. I will caution you, though, this business model is evolving, and I'll tell you, in 2 years from now, how we treat the water in the oil patch will probably be modified. I think there will be changes in legislation in Texas that will actually make it better for us. Because in Texas, for instance, they don't even understand that how do you treat water that's being treated? What category does it fall in? And that will be changing in the next several months. We continue to ramp up our manufacturing capability, and we are focused on the parts of the business that will give us bigger returns. As you can see, I'm a bit excited about this company, and I could go on for a while, but I swore I wouldn't go on too much longer, so thank you very much for your time. If you want to find out any more about us, Ryan and myself will be outside, and I can give you a bit more of an update individually. Thank you very much.